Hello everyone, it's Sonia G, and this is the MoonBabes Monday Night Live Part 2 on Tuesday. So welcome. This is the part that we get to finish up from yesterday because we didn't have a chance to have questions. So let's talk about the cosmic energy. I'm going to pin a comment. And how are you guys doing? Thanks for joining. I see you guys. Let me pin this. So what questions do you guys have about this energy and about the things that are going on? We talked a little bit yesterday about this super powerful new moon phase. Let me fix the situation now that I got told about my hair being crazy from the fashion psychic. I have to pay attention. No, I'm teasing. We just laugh. Hi, Bobby. Hi, Regina. Hi, you guys. My hair will always be crazy. That's just in the brand. That's what we're doing here. So, okay, we talked about this new phase with the new moon that we had over this last weekend that was really, really powerful. New moon in Taurus and sun in Taurus. And we are going through this whole internal revolution because Saturn is retrograde in Capricorn and Pluto is retrograde in Capricorn as well. Saturn is our great teacher. So it's our lessons and the things that we need to dive into in order to surface on the other side more knowledgeable. And Pluto is the transformation. It's like that from shadow to light. It's the transformative side. And sometimes it's not pleasant. So some things we just get to deal with and not really deal with. We get to actually look at and transform. So deal with in a sense of like not ignore. That's really what's happening. We actually have to take a hard look and get honest with ourselves and deal with our feelings, which sometimes it's not the most comfortable thing, but that's the energy that's going to be supporting us to that next phase. If we do this work, this is what we call the work, then we get to that next place, to that next phase, we level up to where we actually feel better and better and better. Because we are in human form, you guys, we learn through these challenges, through the push and the pull, you know, and when things are just too stagnant, when things are flatline, even though they're like positive, but if they're flatline, the tendency in a human being is to not really move forward. It's just to kind of get comfortable. And right now the universe is making sure we don't get comfortable. The universe is making sure that we are leveling up and really going for it. So that's what's happening right now. Hi, Gary. Hi, Ciara. Hi, I see you guys. Hey. If you guys have questions, I am answering questions tonight. But until I have questions, I am just telling you what's happening energetically, because I know a lot of you are feeling it. And the general feeling that's happening, so when you check that cosmic weather, it's really like, it feels like it's like that moment where the engine stops, okay? Like in a plane, if you guys are like, you know, if you watch movies like the sci-fi movies, you know, in the spaceships where they turn off the engines and all of a sudden you go down, and it's like that free fall and you have to go, and it's like lights out and you just have to dive boom, all the way down, and then all of a sudden then you can actually turn the engines back on, and then you can soar, and then you can go, and then you hit the mark, and then you go where you need to go. So it's kind of like that descent down. That's what it feels like energetically. It's like that free fall into the unknown, which sometimes is like not very comfortable. And so it's kind of like, and but then you're going to land being supported. And that's the part where you get to trust the universe, that it's like, nah, the ground is like, you know, not really working underneath me, but I'm just going to trust that then, you know, the floor will appear. and then your wings spread, and then you can fly. And that's the trick right now, is you just have to go dive into the unknown. So Carrie says, I am shaking my head yes, like you can see me. Oh, good. Yes. In some ways, right? Some things I pick up, you guys. Hi, all of you that are joining. Hi, Jackie. I see you guys. So that's the energy of what we're dealing with, you guys. And you got to just get like your spiritual warrior game face on. This is like that time. And one of the things that's really coming up is like reevaluation of the deep stuff. This is like this part of life for me personally. It's reminding me of like the existential crises, my parents used to call them, when I was 13 years old. So I'll tell you a little bit about me. True story. When I was 13 years old, I grew up in Italy, and my biggest arguments and fights, quote unquote, with my parents were about God. And I had such a hard time because my parents, I grew up in a Catholic country. Obviously, Italy is a Catholic country, going to like Catholic school and learning all the Catholic things. And then my parents became LDS, which is a totally different religion. And so I was really just trying to figure out what the hell at 13 years old. And my biggest arguments were about, you can't tell me what God to believe in, which is obviously, you can see how that started me, right? In hindsight, when you look at the life plan, you're like, that was so smart of me to grow up in a Catholic country with parents that, went against the grain and converted to a completely different religion that nobody had ever heard of in Italy. And so then I was forced to question, the big questions of life, and I would just spend my nights looking at the stars and like talking to God, trying to figure this out, which is obviously what led me to where, I am now. But these are kind of the things that are coming up. A lot of people are reevaluating their connection to God and just their connection to their belief systems and the structures that held us all, that held society, or that hold society in place. And last night I was kind of thinking about the way that the programs are inserted into society. I was kind of just processing through my own feelings of how it feels out there, because you guys know when I meditate in the morning and I check the cosmic weather, I kind of like tune in and I feel what's happening out there. And it's this feeling. This is what it feels like energetically. You go down and then you go this way and then you can feel, right, kind of what's happening. It's like the sensory perception that opens up in a different way. And it was interesting how different people are experiencing different moments in time and different realities. And it kind of reminded me of that movie, which I've only ever seen one of, but it's called The Hunger Games, if you guys have ever seen it. And it was basically about this group of elites and now I was thinking about it and I was like, maybe I should watch that movie again. Maybe there's something more to it. You know how sometimes movies have those parallels, but the point is it's a group of like elites that just pick at random certain people to be a part of these games that are called the Hunger Games. And within these games, they control the holograph of these games and what they can make appear in the reality of the games. It's like all these games happen within a holographic dome, and they just are like, okay, let's insert this, and they kind of create it. Well, the thing is, that's kind of exactly what's happening in our world, in our reality. So depending on the channel, on the mental frequency that you're tapped into, you're hitting different barriers, different like holographic inserts, different thought, it's like different thoughts that are inserted, my alarm is already going off, into society. And then if you are tuned into the right channel, then that thought, like, you will pick it up. And so we have to get so good at not picking up other people's thoughts, or just the general conscious or unconscious thoughts. And so it's time to start recognizing which thoughts are your own and which thoughts are not. If you guys haven't done that, this is definitely the time to tune into that, to really get to know yourself on that level, and to know when you're having thoughts that are like, maybe they're not your positive, like reinforcing, like I got this thoughts. And those thoughts, a lot of the times, are thoughts that you just pick up from society, from impulses, from waves, right? The things that you don't see, and they're just like holographic inserts that come into our frequency, and then we pick them up, and all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah, I should probably buy that. Oh yeah, I definitely need that. Oh shit, I'm not doing well. I thought I was doing good, but I'm not. And these are like the things that keep us at a low frequency, that we have to learn to say, you know what? No, that's not me. I don't want that. I don't need this. I don't need all of these things that society says. And just go within and really turn your world from the inside out, not from the outside in. Because when your light is strong, when you're glowing with your chakra pillar glow, and you're strong and your connection is strong, then everything bounces off. It's like your aura just automatically bounces things off. But when you're weakened, and when you don't take the time to connect and to plug in, like if you're a light, you have to plug in. You have to plug into source light. When you're not plugged in and you're not running your connection through your chakra pillar, then you are more like inward, right? You're having like this kind of a day. You're more like, feeling like slower, lower vibrational. This is like the times where you're just like, oh man, I don't feel so good. And you're just kind of like laying low. And when it's like that, then you pick up, it's like your defense systems, your shields are down. And then you're more susceptible to other people's stuff. This is why it's important to take care of our bodies, to take care of our health, to make sure that we're hydrated, eating the good foods, and getting the sleep that we need, because we need to be like strong. And it all comes back around. Okay, I see that you guys are asking questions. Okay, Yorick. Oh, hi, Brian. Hi, Jamie. Okay, how do you know when you've downloaded and leveled up? So you will get that feeling, and it's kind of like right before you get a download, it's almost like that feeling of the calm before the storm. Okay, if I had to describe it. And then it's like everything is so quiet, and then all of a sudden something hits you, and then you're like integrating. And then after that integration, and it depends on how you process through things, right? But after that integration, then all of a sudden, things come easier for you. So you hit a moment where it gets a little bit harder, and you have to just work through your belief system, and then you level up, and then you're like, oh my God, I nailed that. I did that. I feel supported. I feel so accomplished. I know I got this. I am on path. Like, you just know it. You all of a sudden have that knowingness, and then you're following, with the things that you're doing every day. You guys all need to be meditating every single day. I know I keep saying it like a broken record, but it's not really broken because it's working. So keep meditating every day. If you're not doing the meditation on my YouTube channel, go check it out. It's 6 minutes, and it's breath work and a protection mantra that will turn your days to where you're actually feeling like you're in alignment. So important to meditate every morning. Okay. Is getting sick common in up leveling? Regina, that is a great question. Yes. So it depends on how much work you've done. You have to remember that, like, for everyone, the process is a little bit different. So it's hard to compare to what other people are going through at the exact same time, because time is relative in terms of like your own timeline and how you're moving through the phases of your own ascension process. So sickness is generally when the body needs to slow down in order to process through and integrate through. So if, when you are not, if you're doing all of the things I want to say, according to your timeline, generally speaking, you wouldn't necessarily get sick. But when your body needs attention, then you will. It's like, okay, we're going to need to take a time out. Your spirit is needed on the other side. And sometimes there's also other reasons. So sometimes it may just be that you need to integrate something massive. It's kind of like when a computer has a download and you can't run anything else. Like your computer just has to shut down and download the upgrade, right? The update. That's it. You can't do anything else. Sometimes that's why our bodies get sick. It's the same thing. Like you actually have to download and integrate, and you can't do all your other stuff. So your body is like, sorry, dude, can't handle. Like we just need to like integrate this one. It's not going to be good otherwise. And so it depends on, but everything always happens perfectly because it depends on the level of work that you've done to a certain extent. And so it happens, in a way that works for your body. So your body will know, your spirit will know if you do need to get sick in order to process through it, then you will. If you can handle it because, you're used to processing through and integrating light consistently, which is what we want to aim at, then you'll be able to move through it quicker. So it's a matter of like, we need to learn how to like start to digest this light and process it. Digest it is like not really much of a happy term, but just kind of like how to move through it, integrate it, pull more light down. Just, really it's about this light body that we're birthing through our physical body. And it's happening. It's happening for everyone. So you guys, make sure, oh, that makes sense. Good. I think that makes perfect sense. Good. I'm happy to hear. So I am teaching a Kundalini class tonight. If any of you are in Salt Lake, you can come meet me for Kundalini in your PJs at Encompass Wellness Studio. It's at 9:15 in Cottonwood Heights. So I hope that I answered more of your questions, and just kind of, sometimes I know that lately huge questions aren't coming, but it's like you just want to kind of get like a feel for what's happening because it's just weird, and words are good to associate with the weirdness of the energy. So I hope that this is helpful for you to kind of just add on to what we talked about last night. And I will be uploading both videos tonight to YouTube, so you'll find them, and I'll share it in my story. Okay, last question, Jackie. You may have already mentioned this and I missed it. The energy feels like a test almost. Yeah, it's kind of a good way of saying it. I feel tested or challenged to move through my truth and really define what I want. Yes. So at the beginning of like when we started this video, that's what we were talking about. It's really that energy of like, what do you stand for? Where are you? It's like that big existential crisis kind of energy, like, redefining things and really being tested in where you stand and all of your values, all of the belief systems, all of the structures coming down. Remember, this is the transit that we're dealing with right now with these retrogrades. It's like all of the transits are like, clearing out these structures. It started with the Notre Dame fire. It was very symbolic of like the structures of our belief systems, of our society, of things crumbling. So it's important that we find our own grounding and our own centering into our heart, centering into our truth, and redefining our truth at the same time, because that's a moving target too. Everything is shifting. So, all right, you guys, I love you all. I'm going to go get my Kundalini on with my class. I want to remind you that in my stories, you will find the link for the Sun Goddess that went off one more time, that I am hosting with Jessica Marie from Encompass Wellness Studio over the summer solstice. It's June 20th through the 23rd, and it's going to be 3 nights and 4 days of amazingness. Well, one evening. It starts on a Thursday night, and it's an all-day Friday, all-day Saturday, and then 3/4 of a day on Sunday of goddess time together, where we get to go through astrology and crystals and manifesting, and we get to do a dance of light at the salt flats and make flower crowns and really work on our healing and manifesting. Like, you guys get to like actually work with us on all of these things that we constantly do every day to do the leveling up work and to really work life from a higher perspective. So I hope to see a lot of you, and let me know if you have questions, and I will see you in my stories. I love you guys. Thank you so much for joining the MoonBabes Monday Night Live Part 2. And if you guys can find me on my website, it's www.moonbabetribe.com. And again, I am Sonia G. I'll see you guys soon. Mwah. Love you big.